you probably clicked on this one because you want to know what is bottleneck distant assistance. So you probably have a pretty good inclination by now. However, I thought it would be important for me to kind of run over a couple things and tell you a little bit about the differences and the nuances of why bottleneck is bottleneck. Let me first start off by sharing this with you. We have what we call is the bottleneck way. This is probably the best way that I can kind of enter into this conversation. And you can find what the bottleneck way is. You probably already read about it if you've done some research on us. But if I share my screen, you can go right to our website on the About Us drop down arrow, who we are. And I'll just kind of show you what that is. Let me share my screen with you. If I can figure this out. There we go. Okay, so you should be able to read my screen now. And if you go right to here, from the homepage, you can learn a lot about us, the Bottleneck culture, meet our team, who we are, and I'd be happy to put you on as a team member here if you'd like. Who we are, you click there, and the very first thing you come to is the Bottleneck Way. And basically, the Bottleneck Way promotes confidence through communication in a positive atmosphere to establish an intimate-based relationship instead of a transactional-based acquaintance. We understand the power of listening. It is extremely important that the people we choose to work with believe in creating a positive culture wherein the fear of speaking up or sharing ideas should never get in the way of creating opportunities for growth and continued education. I think that's really, really powerful. And that is kind of the anchor to our vision and mission statement, not only internally here at Bottleneck, but also for our external team members that are working directly with our clients. We want to create an atmosphere that is culturally sound as well as financial sound. And let me elaborate a little bit between intimate-based and transactional-based. This is a huge differentiator. If you think about it, many VAs services, and I'm not saying we're ever better than any of them, they're just different, right? We're different than them. We operate differently, and therefore we have a different message and a different way that we package our programs together. Now, I started off hiring virtual assistants, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's just a different way of going about what it is that you need based on a certain criteria and the parameters of your existing situation, right? So if you think about it in a transactional based relationship, you exchange money for a service, project, talent, something like that. And what I've found, at least, is that through several iterations, we would finally get to an area where I could accept that work, that project, that task as completed. And the reason why we had to go through so many iterations is because that VA hadn't spent much time with me, or maybe I've worked with a couple different VAs, virtual assistants, over the course of that project, and I had to keep repeating myself exactly what I was looking for, and then I'd get something back, and well, there's a spelling error here, or maybe the color wasn't right, because they didn't understand me, they didn't understand the integrity of meeting my brand guidelines and what that meant to me, and we really had to do a little bit of pushback. Now, is that good for a project? Yes, of course. You're not W-2, you're not 1099. It's a quick way and usually easy, efficient way to get tasks done that may be outside of your skill set or outside of any of your team members' skill set in order to complete tasks and projects that you need completed. Now, on the other end of that spectrum, and this is where the DA or the distant assistant, we've referred to them as DAs, they have an intimate-based relationship. And what's the difference between intimate-based versus transactional-based? Intimate-based is they're taught in the Bottleneck Academy, the DAs are taught in the Bottleneck Academy how important it is to align with the core values. They study the vision and the mission. They listen. And as a matter of fact, that was one of our words of the year. Listen intentfully and soulfully to engage notably. They understand how powerful that is. And because a lot of people have a fear of delegating because they fear it won't be done quite the way that they want it done, that's because that transactional based relationship has been so prevalent over the years. We made a movement to change that, to be much different, to train in understanding and looking for how our clients interact What is the tone they use? What's their voice? What are words that they use? What is the terminology within that particular industry and or company that's used more often than not, so they can communicate more effectively? What are their brand guidelines consist of? What are the hex code colors? We really spend a lot of time on this up front so that it gives confidence to our clients to delegate possibly even more responsibility, or simply to stop doing the wrong thing so they can focus on doing their best work. So that is one major difference, and that is right in the Bottleneck way. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Again, thank you so much for tuning into this thing, man. I'm pumped for you. I can't wait to see how this turns out.